Hello everybody, and welcome to part 5 of my Salty Shaka series. The last part ended in the middle of the turn, so the usual end of the turn, because I went over a little bit so we could see the end of Beijing, which turned out to be the end of China. Was not my intention, but she had a settler, wouldn't go settle, so we didn't have much choice. For this reason, I'm going to go ahead and relax these guys' postures so that they're included in the turn-to-turn decisions instead of just staying at alert for no more reason. On the way into Beijing, we saw that there were barbarians up here, and since he can move 3, I think should probably head up on that hill. And wow. Okay, so they're all brutes, so there's that. And this camp is damaged, so something's going on here. And we are strong in the area, so maybe I have the Great General head that way. Maybe help clean that up with the quickness. Let's see, what else? As far as this guy, I was thinking we should probably start heading back east because we knew of this camp here, which apparently is overgrown, because last we knew there was an archer here, and there's no way I would have shifted to here because this is marsh. So there's probably 3 barbarians here. I don't actually recall why the scout backed up from this. I'd like to know if it's a land bridge. I don't know if we encountered a barbarian or if it was the Chinese scout. So we should probably head that way, because if it was a Chinese scout, then we should be able to get through now, if there's anything to get through too. As for this scout, we were hiding behind this hill wall just in case we step up here, meet somebody, and then wipe out China. We didn't want to have too many witnesses. We had the one, but there's that. And that brings us to, oh, so yeah, this guy wants to start heading east for the purpose of pursuing that camp. So we'll come up on the hill next turn, 3. Yeah, that works out perfectly, so there's that. And what we can do is have this composite bowman tap into the existing road systems to get over there a little bit quicker. Speaking of which, we just have the one tile. It's fully pre-built, so he can come here and finish that next turn. This guy come down and rip up this road. Money's a problem, so let's not be throwing any more away than we have to. Speaking of which, this road will be operating at a loss at first because we are going to be paying 5 per turn on maintenance, but at 2 pop we're only going to be getting about 2.5 or so. I've never been able to figure out the full equation. It seems to be about 1.1 per population, but a little bit more than that or something, I don't know. But he can come up here and do like a farm, and then he can come along here and do a mine. Because this one is not river, we can put a mine here and we'll make these farms. We've got a ton of workers, so as far as converting these hills back to mines later if we need to, not a problem. For now, we just need these cities to grow as much as possible so we can get our unit supply up so that we can fuel sieges as well as chase down camps, have human monuments. There's not going to be a shortage of need for personnel. As for this worker here, we got 1 turn until the cattle's here, so we'll just move up here like we're going to tend to that and head back there. These workers, we got a couple here. We got a couple of stone tiles to develop, a farm to finish. It says it's only going to take 1 turn. It'll take 2 turns to repair this. We got horses undeveloped. But by the time we could complete a road here, that would be 4 tiles, and this will be 4 pop. So this segment of road will indeed pay for itself. So maybe we get started on that. I can have this guy cross the river like so. He can get started on these roads. So I'm thinking what we'll do is we'll have this guy do these 2 hexes, right? He can come up here, start on a farm, and we'll use this guy starting on this road tile as a signal to switch jobs to starting road tile here. Now this worker, we have like this weird situation where there's river between these 2 tiles but not these 2. So he should be able to step out, finish that, bam, come here, 1, 2, finish that, and then either come back here and do the road or cross the river, do the road. We'll take a look at that when the time comes. Alright, the guy that's sieged gets a promotion, and he already has 3 buffalo promotions, so keep in mind this is as if he's brand new as far as like unlocking things like cover, and March and Medic and all that. So this might be why the Zulus are blessed with not needing as much XP, because they do have this unique clump of buffs that kind of get in the way of their overall progression. But they're really strong, so it's not like I'm whining that we're being put out or anything like that. It's not like the Incan Atlatist or anything like that, where it's actually straight up worse. Okay, so we get to take the final policy in the honor tree. This means a few different things. If we can avoid taking another policy until we hit medieval era, that would be great. And what this means is we're going to have to keep a close eye on our science to culture ratio and try not to kill too many barbarians in the meantime. On the other hand, now that we've completed the tree, we can get gold for every kill. So we're just going to take a note here. Our current gold is about 200, you know, negative 14 per turn. And just to try and get a picture of how that is. And then, of course, any units that have not had their fill of barbarian experience, I think you can only get what would ever be 2.5 levels worth. So what's that, like 10, 20, 30, 40? I think it would be about 45 experience you can get off of barbarians per unit. So some of these units might not have that fill just yet, but the ones that have not will now be acquiring that at an accelerated rate. So the cattle does come into our cultural borders. We're not at 3 pop yet. When we get there, we'll do this, but we can start developing it, so we can dismiss that because we have addressed it. This growth goes into here, and the granary is finished. So even with building the National College, the capital's been doing a great job of staying up on our unit supply, and it's also going to be our biggest production city as far as playing catch up with buildings and such like that. So I would go out on a limb and say it's too early for this expand to be bothering with an Iconda, which brings us to the Colosseum and Temple. And I lump these two together because our religion does have the belief that temples are +2 happiness. So these buildings will be about the same, except for this costs 1 more maintenance for +2 faith. And I think that is a worthwhile investment, even with our gold being in the state that it is. Now the only caveat to that is that the city is not religious yet. So what we'll probably do, if you guys have seen my One with Nature series, usually because it's an expand that is getting faith off the ground because of the Pantheon, there comes a point where the city is split. There's no majority. You have as many followers of the Pantheon as you do of the religion. And as a result, you lose the effects of that, even though that religion encompasses that Pantheon. I really hate that, but that is a fact of the game. So what would happen is, if we just let this passively accrue pressure, eventually the 2 faith we're getting from these the salt tiles would just turn off until we did get a majority. And the way to avoid that is, you know, once the religion is established, as soon as you get enough faith to purchase a missionary, you go and actively spread it. And in this case, that would actually be doubly good, not just to make sure we don't drop off that, but these 2 cities, we have assault here, we have copper and iron here. So we have cities that we could be getting faith from that we're not. And yeah, the pressure will take over eventually, but this city is growing very quickly. This city's just out of range. So what I'll probably do is buy a missionary, spread it here, spread it here. We can't control where the citizens go, so you know, it's not like we're spreading it here because it's double, but we will be doubling up on the pressure to Nobamba, which means it'll convert faster and we can go from there. So I think that's the plan. So let's just take a look at 112 faith to go. We're at 9 per, so that's what, like 13 turns? Yeah, 90, 99, 108. Yeah, so 13 turns, which is about how long it's going to take to build this. So that extra maintenance will be put to use very quickly as far as that goes. Okay. So the camp is damaged further, and the other brutes decide to head towards our lands instead of whatever's actually acting on this camp. So that seems kind of suspect. We got these 3 guys here, so let's go like this for sure. And I'm thinking, since he can move 3, let's get him in the middle here, because we actually can, if we weren't being zoned or controlled or blocked, we can act on this camp from here to 3. So this way he kind of acts as a blocker in both directions, as well as threatens this camp, as well as deflanking And so this guy can come up here, this guy can come up here. Unfortunately, step and shoot's not an option, but these are brutes. We have the honor opener, we have a great general nearby. I'm not afraid of going toe-to-toe with them guys. So he'll just heal up here. This guy's heading east, as we discussed. Now here I could choose either hill, and normally I would choose this one to get the most visibility, but right now I'm actually more interested in less visibility, so that if a barbarian camp does spawn, it's near where we can just take care of it quickly instead of having to go way out of our way. We don't want to be playing whack-a-mole at a distance. There probably will come a point where, because of civil service and our growth is just so amazing, we can pump out unit after unit after unit, and as impies rather than spearmen, they're going to be a lot better at going solo or, you know, 2 at a time without an archer to help. But for now we want to try and encourage closer camps when possible. Alright, there's that city connection. I'll check in here. Yep, invade 2.55, and it's costing 5, so we are operating this at a loss, but this city is growing quick, and soon that will be rectified. In fact, by the time we get this second city connection here, will be 4 pop, which means this will be operating at a small profit, which will help offset this. So basically, when this gets to 4 pop and this road is completed, all of this road will be self-sufficient, and that's good. So do that there. I did want to scout near just to see what's on the other side of China, but these hills are pretty juicy, and we uncover not only a ruin but a barbarian, so there is more stuff going on down here, but I don't know how much. Right now I'm more interested in what's going on up here. Okay, we knew that was going to happen. I'm a little surprised it took them that long, but okay, camp got cleared out and then the brutes split up. City connection established. Camp right on top of our city. Okay, so what I want to do is definitely let's hit this guy, because he's the one that's threatening our homelands. We did more than half, and that's really good. That should mean that we're able to clean him up no matter where he goes, because we are zone of controlling him. We'll manually do that in case it turns off. So from here we actually should be able to, because this guy occupied that and indeed got out of the way, so there we go. Clean that up. More money, more culture, and there's a horse. Now we know what was acting on the camp. And it's actually kind of weird to me to see him over there. He's only got 2 cities, and he's sending a caravan to us. So a second city's got to be between us, and we got this big wall of mountains here, so I don't know what he's doing way over here. I'm guessing probably a scout that got it. Yep, okay. Here's a little interesting side effect of upgrading my enhanced user interfaces. We can see that he has double survivalism promotions. Those are only available to scouts, so now we know exactly what this guy's doing here. These 2 should be able to clean this guy up next turn, and he should be able to clean this up next turn. So I'm going to leave the Great General here for now, but this guy, let's start having him head. We can head up here, then here, and go like that. Him will start a farm, but like I said, as soon as this guy starts the road here, we'll do that. He's going to get started over here. It'll take 2 turns, 2 turns. So when he goes here, we could cross the river here and all the roads. So we'll just be paying the maintenance on this tile, and then all the roads will be finished simultaneously. That's pretty good. Okay. So yep, he's going to come over here. Looks like we're being followed by the archer, or one of the archers, as is probably the case. Population ruin. And another barbarian camp, which it's not on a hill, so we're safe there. We'll probably start cutting back. We are going to expend some units to clean this one up. Maybe we have them come down here. Once the National College is finished, I'll take a closer look at our science to culture ratio, make sure we don't overdo it. Because it looks good now, but we're about to build here. Oh, and look at that. The population ruin went to Beijing. So nice. He's occupying the market. That's why it says 41 turns to growth. That's terrible. And 1 more turn of resistance. So we should be able to see what construction project this one adopts now. I'm in a habit of trying to keep the mouse steady between turns because I've noticed if I'm moving around like this, sometimes the game hangs. It'll complete the turn and make the autosave for the next turn. But then you gotta shut down the software and like reload that autosave. And I always can tell because like mid-turn, like the tooltips just stop updating and then eventually the cursor goes to the Windows waiting thing. So from this point on, I will try to keep things as still as possible. So don't expect a whole lot of between turn. What am I doing? I got promotion. All right, this is pretty important to figure out. Okay, good deal. Well, that's good because he could have stepped over and done that, but we want him actually going here. Now would be an okay time to address the workers I spot that it can finish up. There's that. Heal. So I'll have him step and shoot and then finish him off. There we go. Which means the Great General can start heading down here to help him. Oh, and look at that, Beijing, since we finished the camp here. Okay, so this is actually good. Good growth, good gold intake, good production tile. But we've already seen that we did get the market, and the governor is seen fit to occupy it since it's just a puppet. Puppet means gold focus. So this one will probably be hanging out at 5 pop for some time, but that's good. We only needed it to be 4 to help pay for the roads. Speaking of which, this guy can start heading up. I actually... Oh, wow. Okay. I was just going to say, one of the problems I've noticed with my own game style is I kind of just go with whatever I'm prompted with and then cycle through the units. But really, what I should be doing is exactly this, favoring the scouts or whatever's of prominence. So like when this was mass, you know, that was kind of a prominence. And here, because we move the scout first, we see some things that are worth noting. First of all, we know that this is a land bridge. We know that he can't get through. I mean, on a long enough time frame, maybe, because we do have the honor tree, we do have survivalism. We could slam in here, you know, heal up, slam in, heal up. But it's Raging Barbarian, so while we're healing up, more units get spawned, and, you know, we got units chasing us from behind. And we can see where his second city is. In fact, looks like this line curves here, so this is the city center. It looks like it's already gone here. So now the death squad that I was sending over here is going to take forever to get there. I think might be better to send this way. And yes, it's going to take forever to get there too. However, he's stuck. So if we can actually, you know, get him sprung. Plus, with this thing running between here and here, we don't know how much. He's a little bit off to the side. We don't know what all this looks like. But if they can come pouring out of here and start heading for the caravan, we'll lose out. So I'm inclined to have these guys head up that way. Let's take a look at this. Diagonal here, diagonal here. We're going to end up here either way, so it's awkward. We either go here, go here. Here looks like a good move, bad move, bad move. Here's a good move, bad move. But, like say from here, 1, 2, 3, and from here, 1, 2, 3. So they're on the same latitude either way. Okay. So let's stick to this diagonal simply because we'll be able to go around his city easier. Because if we come to this diagonal, then we're going to spend a turn having to get onto this diagonal. So I think the thing to do here is to just aim for directly here and then go up. If this was flatland, yeah, I'd come up through here because it looks like this diagonal might be the optimal one. But so we can have this guy head up alongside him. He can move 3 per turn, so he can cut through this stuff a little bit easier. Alright, a little bit of change of plans there. Did I just give him a weird command? I did. I thought I saw like the 7 turns thing. I went to click on this. So I'm glad I caught that, because sometimes... Alright, so I should be moving my scouts first every turn. And this is the turn that National College gets finished, so... Oh, whoops, I meant to not be moving the mouse around. Alright, didn't sync the game. So yeah, we'll come up here. And we got to come up here, get as complete as possible, because we are the honor tree, right? We wouldn't want to leave this undone, even though it helps us in the long term, because if we're operating under the understanding that we'll see all camps, and then one spawns there, we're going to be in trouble. So there's that. Alright, we are now at 3 pops, so there's that. And keep in mind, because this is out of resistance and it's going to be building a monument, we got to take that into consideration when we're counting this out. So, let's see, drama and poetry or horseback riding. I've been trying to tell myself in recent times to be favoring horseback riding, just because stables are overlooked in the early game, at least by me. I think the capital only had the 2 horses. I don't think we have a city that building a stable would be a worthwhile use of our hammers. Circuses are good, but I don't know when we're going to get to them. We're not having happiness issues right now. Our scouting game is lackluster, so building a horseman or 2 to kind of make up for that might be good, although the scouting game being lackluster is kind of working in our favor because we only had the 1 witness, and if we were to turn our sights to Indonesia now and wipe them out, which they only have 2 cities, that might be the only option. We wouldn't want too many witnesses. On the other hand, we do have an awfully large stockpile of salt. We don't want duplicates if we're going to be going to war all game long, because we're not going to be able to trade them straight up for happiness. So, and then the other thing I'll just point out is we're the Zulus, so we have an Akanda up already, which means our spearmen are coming out with a really nice promotion, including plus speed, so they're almost as fast as horses and much more durable. So if we were to dedicate a military unit just to bolster our scouting, we could do it this way. On the other hand, we're already in a possibly in a situation where we're going to need to throttle our culture intake. You know, once we're at medieval, it won't be as touch and go, I don't think. We've been having a good growth game, so we might be able to just, you know, get into Renaissance after 1 filler policy. We'll get to that when we get to it, but so we don't need any of this stuff right now. But I do think going horseback riding first makes more sense. If we had a city-state quest for science, we would definitely take horseback riding first, just to get that tech count up. So yeah, the National College is finished, so let's shift our arrangement to maximum growth. We want to get that unit supply up as much as possible. So let's go ahead and get started on that now by building a spearman. We're going to be stocking up for our next war, basically, so we want to have as many spearmen out as possible when it comes time to upgrade. And there's going to be a gold consideration, so it's not like we can go nuts. But we don't have to upgrade all of them right away, especially when you consider Runti is going to be a human monument. That's the other thing I should probably address, is we had enough composite bowmen for the war on China. We had 2 here for human monuments and 4 to push forward, which was really good. It really helped us take those cities down quicker, because we don't have MPs yet. We can't rely on, you know, brute force. We got to be a little bit of finesse. We've taken 2 cities since then, so obviously we're going to want to put a human monument in Beijing. Like I said, Runti, he's fine, and the reason for that is he's not going to be as fast as our Buffalo promoted, and technically he's not going to be as strong either. So we'll just let him stick in the background. And this way, as far as like making composite bowmen for the next war, we should only need to have to make 1 to backfill the one that's going to be the Beijing human monument. Hope that makes sense. I didn't want to spend too much time on all of that, but you never know. We gotta, you know, keep things. All right, we moved both of our scouts, so now we can address other things, like for example these guys heading up. Okay, so he's finished with the road here, so he's going to move in position, and we'll tell him to say farm and then interrupt him as a redundant cue to switch him to roads. Let's see, get eyes on the camp, move him in here. He only needs to heal 1 more turn, so what I'll do is I'll have this guy come down so he can be the human monument. We'll have this guy get across the river, because we kind of want to start diverting our units back home in preparation on the war against Indonesia. But I also wanted to point out that if you do need to be spread out west to east like this, the fact that the capital is your main producer of units and is in the east, like this camp, say it was to one point get to be a problem, I mean, we could whip out 2 spearmen right here, go tag team, or, you know, whatever. So we should be favoring that even less a little bit. We do have some time, though. And he's going to be able to shoot from here, so we're not going to get any extra visibility. But he, when he comes out 1, 2, 3, that gets us a little visibility. He can come over 1, 2, 3, get a little bit more visibility. So that'll help the scout out, because our scouting game has been lackluster. So maybe this guy can pick up a little scouting over here. Like maybe just a little bit, right? Like just enough to where we can zoom back across the river if we need to. And if like this was in our border, I'd come across, heal up real good, and then go on. But let's heal up 1 turn and then go about our scouting game. That seems good. So we'll end up on that hill there. We need to keep our distance from the camp, obviously. But hopefully those spearmen getting out there and helping with the scouting. Alright, so first fish comes into our borders. Next we'll have another fish. And then because this is 3 tiles away, it'll probably take the governor time to pick it up. And that's okay, because I don't know when we're going to get to a lighthouse here. We did go ahead and build the granary, so it's not going to be that pressing. I see this worker's freed up, so let's go finish this farm. Looks like it's not going to be in time for 6 pop, but you know, they'll slight overlap, no big deal. Okay, we're done with the monument here, and as much as I'd love to get into, say, granary and watermill to get that unit supply up, especially since this is a late city, I still think we should build a shrine first, you know, monument shrine, just justifying this cities. Because of how warlike we are going to be, I don't consider faith gain to be that important, but because we had a good production, we're able to get one up early Pantheon and stuff, we might as well follow through with it. Because it's going to mean gold, and it's going to mean happiness. And when you're going for war, both of those are really good. Okay, so we are being pursued from behind, so taking this camp down a quicker, this seems good. So I'll hit it once, and we'll heal up. Maybe that was a bad idea. It seems like a even worse exchange than what I was expecting. Maybe I was putting too much stock in the honor opener. So we get these guys into position like such. About 43 and about 37 twice means this camp is annihilated next turn. So I think stepping and shooting makes sense, because then we can step to, you know, get the flanking bonus, and then we'll evaluate how to approach this. In fact, I didn't do that after the National College. We got 4, 9, 17 right now. This is saying 22 turns, but do keep in mind we are building another monument, so that's going to shave some turns off, and every single barbarian kill we engage is also going to do that. Like this is 10, is going to be 10 culture, so that's 2/3 of a turn. So we really got to be careful with how much killing we do. Again, once we cross the threshold of medieval, we can go nuts, although we'll probably want to do some counting and see how we can secure rationalism as well. We're not in a hurry to close the window of relevance on MPs, but you know, once the relevance of MPs is done, these Zulus are not special in any way. And we'll keep our Buffalo promotions. It's not like we'll grow to be irrelevant. It's just we need to have enough early game momentum. So if he's going to come out here, he can actually start heading like what? Oh, that looks like border. That looks like Greece border. Okay. So this is another good news, bad news situation. Like on the one hand, it's nice that we found somebody else that we can attack. But if you've played Civ 5 at all, you know that Alexander is terrible. He's obnoxious. He's very sensitive. He tries to buy up all the city-states. He builds an obnoxiously large army. Although, if I'm not mistaken, his special units are both early game, like pre-pikeman. Um, I know that one's a spearman replacement, and this is a horse replacement. Yeah, so around the time that our MPs start their window of relevance, his window of military superiority will be closing. Oh, we haven't met him yet. I was going to say, let's check out his military score. Okay, and this is the other thing to consider. Well, I'll tell you what, let's meet him and compare notes and figure that out. We might need to, I mean, the bulk of our army's over here. We're spitting out more over here, so we're flexible for the moment, but we kind of need an idea of where we're heading long term so that our decision over the next dozen turns or so makes sense. I'm a little concerned that this city has not listed as having crabs yet, not even one, which means if we capture this city, it will be at a pure happiness deficit. And even if this is the end of the road, the amount of time it would take us to get workboats over there on a map with raging barbarians, we don't know how many ships there are, that would be disastrous. So what we can do is militarily look at us versus Indonesia. Look at that. They're insignificant. And our scores are just going to keep going up. We're going to be building units. We're going to upgrade to impies. And I don't even know if this tracking system knows how to fully appreciate impy versus pikemen. And then science. Wow, look at that. Even with the great library, they're insignificant compared to us. So it looks as if we could just treat them like an afterthought. So let's meet Greece, figure out what's going on. Maybe that's where we head first. I don't know. We can give this guy a promotion. He only has 2 movement to start, so let's come here. And that way if we decide to go up here, we can. Or if we decide to cross the river to get back over here, we can do that. Because we need to start considering the possibility that Greece makes a more sensible next target. I'll go ahead and build that composite bowman to kind of backfill like we were talking about earlier. Let's see here. He's scouting along. Okay, well, this is good. We have another unique luxury here. It's showing he also wants iron. Oh, and look at that. He's on the other side of where Greece would be. Okay, so we can take a peek at this. Science, he's not a threat. Militarily, he's superior to us right now. And that's probably because Greece is his neighbor. So this gives us even more of a reason to go after Greece next. We'll meet them and figure that out. But as far as the selling of the iron, I'm happy to do it. We definitely need the money. And the only reason I ever get hesitant about selling iron is because the difference between a warrior and a swordsman is quite large. And I don't want to be arming my neighbor, especially if, like in the case of Greece. But if he gets bigger, that's actually better for us. He's only got 3 gold per turn, so unless he only just in case he only wants the 1 iron, let's do this. Make sure we take all of his money because we still have plenty of iron left. Gold's been in the toilet, so yeah, making a deal for as much as possible is great. So did I move both scouts? This scout's not moving anyways. We're going to have him fortify up, get as strong as possible. But we got units in the area, so it's not like he's going to be forgotten. This archer here, we'll take a step. Oh, that's good to know, actually. Okay, Wooded Hill, and that's going to be the Buffalo Soldiers' kryptonite. So if we ended up here, we cannot be shot. If we end up here, we cannot be shot or seen on either case. If we end up here, we have flexible options, though. If the archer comes here or here, we can still attack. Or if he comes out here, we might have a better shot at attacking rather than running into this wall. So I'll come up here, gets us more visibility. I'm so pleased to see some flat land finally. Because like my composite bowman from here, 1-2, we're in the game. Okay. So that's not bad. We'll finish that farm up there. He was scouting 2, 3. Okay, so we'll step for the flanking bonus. And we'll... Oh, I meant to step here. Oh, but look at that. It's not going to actually... Okay. Yeah. Alright, well, we didn't actually lose any visibility, but nevertheless, I need to be thinking. I'm a little foggy in the brain right now because the idea that we might have to switch at the metagame level has me reevaluating all kinds of decisions. As far as this goes, what we can do is start heading down that way. If we are going to war here, we're going to want this guy healed up and in borders in time to become an MP so we can get started right away. Because Greece is what they are, I'll leave him right here. We can cross the river, replace him as he crosses the river, head east. We're very flexible here. What was I saying? Something about Greece being obnoxious. Oh, we can anticipate such a war would be not necessarily lengthy, but we would have to take time to mow down his units. It wouldn't be like China, where we're just taking cities and there's a few units in the way. It would probably have significant amount of, but we'll find that out next turn. However, we are past the half-hour mark, and as much as I would love to just meet Greece and figure out what's, well, you know what, I'll tell you what, let me pass the turn. We can always just meet him, evaluate things, and call it a day there. And that way I don't leave you guys on this cliffhanger of like, oh wait, I want to know what's going on. Enemy spearmen attacked your scout. Oh dear. Well, I'm glad that I chose fortify, because that means he's going to be even more defensive this turn. I see a knight there. And I'm also glad to see that this guy is so weakened that we can literally take this camp at will. But we do have this horse to deal with. Can I kill this? I can. So there we go. That's exactly what I was talking about as far as that goes. Oh wait, I'm getting ahead of myself here. I just wanted to yeah, I didn't want to leave you guys on this cliffhanger. So based on the tiles that we can see, I'm guessing this is the city tile, so we should be okay with just heading west. Okay, indeed that is the case. So let's exchange embassies. He does have a unique luxury, so we can make nice for the time being. And I also see Polynesia has more gold. Very nice. Hey, look at that. Is that enough to put our gold into the positive? Not quite, but just about. Okay, so I'm gonna pretty much call this, but let's just take a look at the graphs here and figure out. All right, Zulus, Polynesia, that's probably Greece, right? Okay, so right now they're stronger, and we're gonna be pumping up more units, getting MPs as opposed to spearmen. And like I said, they've got the two early game units, so they've probably been a bit of a problem right now. What we can do also, here's their city, Flatland. It's got a walls, but that's okay. Five cities, and they opened piety. Let me look at something here. Okay, see, the thing you got to keep in mind is here, like where it says 4 liberty and 1 aesthetics, that's not including the opener. So this guy has actually selected 7 policies at least. Because let's say he took the tradition opener as well, it just wouldn't show up here until he takes another. So the fact that he's got 5 documented, and this guy's only got 3, means he probably has another opener or 2 elsewhere. So he might have, say, the tradition opener, the liberty opener, and it just wouldn't report on it. But man, look at that, 5 cities, and he's favored piety. That's insane. And his military score is better. So yeah, he's really looking like alright, scientifically he's not a threat, and that's good. That means once we thrash him, we won't have to worry about him coming up. But I'll tell you what, if he's got 5 cities and we can see a city here, that means there's probably a city in between. We'll have the scout head west. In fact, that looks like borders there, so yeah, it's almost certainty. Okay. So maybe that would mean we impy up, hit this, burn it down, hit this, burn it down, hit this, take 3 of his cities away. Whoever knows us at the time is going to hate us, but, you know, I do see our workers about to finish there, so we'll knock 3 turns off of that shrine. That's great. Anyways, I do want to end it here. I don't want to make a habit of ending mid-turn, but the alternative was to call it. Knowing there's a shift in the metagame, I really want to take some time and reevaluate like where units were heading and all that good stuff. So please like and subscribe if you feel that I've earned that, and I will see you guys in the next part. Take care.